getting closer. No time to be sober, sunshine on my shoulders. I'm alive and breathing, living my best life. Love is on my mind and it's making me high.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, even, and welcome back to the European Beach Ultimate Club Championships 2023 Mixed Division semi-final action for you. Ukraine mixed up against UFA, Ultimate Frisbee Algarve from Portugal. I'm Benji Rees. She's Hannah Pendlebury. Let's get it.
Absolutely. We have been treated to some scintillating championship bracket games thus far today, and I do not expect that this one's going to disappoint. We have a slight, well, pretty much toe-for-toe level of roster size here. The Ukrainian mixed side hailing from Kyiv, coming through so much adversity to the semi-finals here today in front of us. Oh, Benji, it's going to be what a game.
A battle of two undefeated sides. Ukraine topping Pool A after seeing B fire 9-8 in that game we streamed yesterday. Another wins over Enzonis, Rostock, Crash the Zone, and Monkey Grenoble before a round of 16 win over Manshot and a quarterfinal victory on Universe against Air FO, where they were 8-5 down before coming back to win 9-8. UFA, Universe point wins in the pool over Chak, a tight one over Discalarius 12-10. Also saw off Jabba, Panic, and AKS in the round of 16, and then Foy 13-11 in a maybe slightly bad-tempered quarterfinal, Hannah.
Yeah, the spirit scores from that game, both opponents gave each other 6 out of a possible full 20. I think just some difficult discussions and maybe some less than ideal comments made. So hopefully this one can be a little bit more level-headed.
So we are underway here on the sands of Royan, mixed semi-final action on the far sideline. Slenzak, nice break into the centre of the pitch. Batiakina, trying to find that. Oh, it's a little bit floaty, too far out in front. Dimar Cholkin turned, but I think he knew that the chance had gone.
Well, not the ideal start, certainly, for the Ukrainian side. And we are delighted to have them here on the beach in Royan. Of course, Ukraine not always known for their beach ultimate outfits, but certainly put some pretty tasty moves together in the indoors division last year in Lithuania.
Doesn't matter what the surface is, that one, just caught the wrong edge in the end zone and unable to even complete the first pass despite the bidding of Afonso Coelho. Sure, Ritzman wants that one back. Cholkin will walk it to the front end zone line here. Slightly loose force. Cholkin trying to find that isolation. Instead going backwards. Strelchina trying to find the big man maybe. Vlad Zavalenko leads the team in stats, but that's not going to add another. A 20th assist of the tournament goes begging. Just the casual 19 assists and 10 goals for Vlad Zavalenko. Decent return. Here's the deep shot, trying to get that one back, and Cholkin was all over that one, sped mightily across the sand and got the position on Afonso Coelho.
Yeah, Dmitry Cholkin is a man that is difficult to stop.
Slenzak. Zavalenko, there is a stoppage. Trying to work out whether it affected that throw. Slightly nervy start maybe to the semi-final here from both teams.
Yeah. But this is what we expect, you know, two teams just trying to figure each other out. It's more kind of, you know, maybe a bit of nerves.
Checked in. Zavalenko plants, takes off deep. The big man trying to rule the skies here, and he jumps it into the end zone. Doesn't worry about Berman, just trying optimistically to see if she can get in there, and Ukraine take the lead 1-0.
Yeah, eventually we puncture through after, as you said, Benji, a bit of a shaky start for both sides. We were delighted and stunned in equal measure to see the Ukrainians, as we say, best B-fire. The eventual bronze medalists last season. And UFA, of course, always highly decorated on sand. Many of their players in the Algarve representing Portugal as well when they come together as a national side.
Yeah, this is, of course, one of 2 semi-finals. The other one on the bottom half of the bracket sees Korokota take on Margarita Mixed, and Korokota take an early 1-0 lead in that one.
Well, I think the pundits are expecting that one to go in the favour of the Irish plus some buddies team, but there's some Americans on this UFA side as Nikki Prien races off to the deep space and collects a beautiful goal.
Yeah, Thomas Edmonds gripped it, ripped it, and it was bang on for Nikki Prien for the score. The German makes it 1 apiece.
Yeah, Edmonds, the Canadian, although currently residing in America, coming along, and has had some absolute dimes thus far in this game.
Yeah,
a clean hold for UFA.
It would have played Canada Open at Beach Worlds last year, but didn't happen, so I wonder if we'll see it back out on the sands at Huntington Beach later in the calendar.
And it's good to see that Huntington's been able to clean up its act. They had an oil spill which seemed to not really puncture through the news cycle, one of the reasons why that tournament had to be semi-relocated. But we're at 1 apiece here. Even Stevens, legs 11 as it were. There's a huge ball going to land just out of bounds.
Cholkin will bring it in from the brick mark. Score check, it's 1.
So the late evening, well, early evening sun, I guess.
Middle evening sun,
it is
we'll go with.
It's 7 p.m. local time as we get given some teeny tiny scoops for some, ice cream's just been delivered to our booth, but that one is not a tasty biscuit over the top to put on top like a waffly cone. Zavalenko overthrown.
Here's the deep shot in response, and that one's going to be overthrown as well. Ritzman had a little bit of separation in that deep space, but I think Edmonds could have just done with taking a little bit off that one.
Yeah, I think everybody out on the pitch right now just needs to notch it, dial it down a touch. The wind is pretty much non-existent at the moment in this game.
What do you think we got here? Strawberry and chocolate?
Oh, absolutely. Grab yourself some refreshment, go to your freezer, grab that little... We all know you've got a secret ice cream hidden in your freezer. Go and get it.
Speak for yourself. I am a paragon of virtue. That one coming round from the backside, laying out his Ines Brinjel. There's going to be a discussion, though.
Yeah, there was a heavy amount of contact there. Brinjel, of course, known for her fantastic defense. I think her profile picture is still laying out on Facebook. Who even uses that platform anymore?
Uses what, sorry?
But
I thought it was Meta now.
Oh, that's true. Well, the product is still called Facebook, but the holding company.
It's a joke to show how out of touch I am.
Oh, right.
Contested foul. So going to go back to the thrower.
Right, well,
Strelchina.
We'll press the undo button on our stats and get another go at that. So not quite clean enough to get it away from Siensek.
Stalling from 6. Checked in. Cholkin clears out as the reset. Looking for the break backhand and gets it. Cholkin rips it deep himself. Strelchin just outside the end zone. Can he find that forcing pass? Slienzak, no. Instead, back to Cholkin, and he breaks the mark for the goal. And you can see what it means to the Ukrainians. It's 2-1.
Oh, the celebration there from Dmitry Cholkin. My goodness, he might have lost his frosted peroxide demon hair, but he's still got the throws to dazzle us here on the sand in Royan.
Express delivery there. To Strelchin.
He's paid extra for that kind of service.
And then follows it up, collects the reset, breaking the mark here. Simple as you like.
Indeed. Well, feisty defense from UFA, not quite clean enough to get themselves that one. But a missed opportunity from the zesty throw, overshot by Edmonds.
Confirmed chocolate, by the way.
How is it on a scale of 1 to gelato?
Glacier. I'll put my spoon away from a bit. There are pressing matters to attend to here.
Indeed. We don't want no glass, we just want frizz.
Roy watches it roll at his feet. Starts with the inside, straight down the centre of the pitch to put in. Back to Roy. Now Pedro Vargas, showing the high release, but shelving it. Back to Roy. Eventually wriggles free of Shupanov's mark. Ferreira. Roy breaking around Vargas once more. That heavy strapping on that left knee. Vargas wants to float that one over the top and gets it bang on the money to Ferreira. Both points for UFA's O-line being remarkably clean here to tie us at 2s. It was indeed.
I was thinking that was a honey score, but not the case.
Not quite.
Sorry, just muting myself so you don't have to hear the... I'm not really a big fan of the ASMR eating sounds on a microphone.
The automatic silent monkey recordings.
See, I got that joke.
For, right?
I got that
yeah?
joke.
Sure, okay.
You're a funny guy, Benjamin Rees.
It has been known to happen. Brinjel's going to pull. This is a strategy that the Portuguese have used even before the days of prescribed pulling because...
Well, why not when you can throw like that?
I think it's usually because like, most teams use male-dominated handler sets, and you kind of want your handler marks attacking it at full speed, which you can't quite do if you're kind of putting all your momentum into the pool. Strelchina. That one, the bid, oh my word. Coelho, put that away.
Yeah, please no more of this slightly risky biscuit action. Anastasia Jubenko not super happy about the collision there, getting a little bit too thirsty and pushing the defender.
I understand that you want to make a play, but he very nearly injured his own teammate there, Berman.
I have seen some nasty players in my time. Wes was probably watching somebody get their leg broken straight through.
We'll move on.
Yep, we will.
Not that I'm squeamish or anything. Zavalenko finds Slenzak. And Slenzak. Did she find the way through? I don't think she did.
She did not. An ambitious shot at best.
That was a bid that Coelho got right.
Indeed.
Was just a little bit unsighted there right down in that corner.
Just patience, young Padawan. Your time for a block will come.
Does he qualify as a young Padawan?
I think everyone's young compared to us, right?
Speak for yourself, mate.
That's true. You haven't quite joined us in Masters age eligibility for your unretirement.
And yet, were I female matching, I would have been. That being said, I agree with the various age limits, so I have no quibble here.
Well, unlike the state pension age in many countries, I think we are going to be waiting quite a while before that age equalisation happens.
Oh, I've state pension, that's never happening. I've fully accepted that at this point. Here's Coelho to Berman. Let's get back to the matter at hand. Brinjel, a little bit of flutter in the wind there. Zipping it to Edmonds. He's been playing both ways early on in this game. Brinjel, former Euro star, to Coelho. That one low, not even Ines Brinjel's going to rescue that one.
Well, actually, talking about the Eurostars program, that is how Nikki Priyan's been acquired, becoming friends with Ines Bringel on the Eurostars tour 2 seasons in a row. Oh, and she tries to make a big play, and again, just a bit too much contact on the bids from Ultimate Frisbee Algarve players.
I was going to say, I had suspected that was how Priyan ended up here. Bringel accepts the foul. Kravets to the far sideline. Slenzak just on the doorstep is Zavalenko. And Cholkin lost his footing. The sand monster got in there.
I already saw that stumble happen before the disc was released, so a bit of a late reaction there perhaps from Zavalenko, but he's been putting a lot of duty, so I can understand if that man is a little bit tired around the edges.
Right, I'm tired and I haven't even been playing Frisbee.
Well, we have been doing the tireless work of commentating almost all day.
Bringel tried to climb the ladder, but came up a rung short. Again, the UFA offensive points, clean, crisp. But Ukraine, they're really having to grind it to get their scores offensively. And I do wonder, you know, as the game goes on, will they feel the wear and tear in the legs a bit more?
Well, it's been a long old day out here on the beach. These teams having to play many games to get themselves in pre-quarterfinals as well as quarters, and this now semi in front of us. Big shot though.
Looking for Cholkin. There's a pick, but Cholkin's going to make sure he secures the catch anyway. Yeah, 4th game of the day for these sides. And yes, I know the game's only 45 minutes, but when the sun is beating down like it is at the moment, the sand's hot as well, it's scarce to find the shade. It adds up. It does add up.
Well, and also, Benji, not only have you got those factors, but you're also having to run for your life against these dynamic elite athletes.
I forgot about the playing Frisbee bit.
I know, and all the mixed division action is pretty tough at the top.
It's a really deep mixed division with a lot of parity. There's the deep shot for Cholkin. And again, another overthrow, and Slenzak looks frustrated with herself. Slenzak actually played on 3SB at last year's Windmill, so picked up a silver medal there. We're hoping to be improving that standing on the beach this weekend. Overthrown straight back to Slenzak. She might get a chance here. Zavalenko. 2-on-2, got to take the poach there. Maybe waited for it a little bit too long, but eventually Cholkin uncovers and collects the forehand for the score, 3-2.
Well, I have to say he was a big impact player for UFA in their previous stream game against Discolaris, but Thomas Edmonds needs to go and recalibrate something in his arm, because that's quite a few turnovers for him this game.
A couple already, and when you're playing at the thick end of tournaments, you've got to be so accurate and so precise. And if you're not, you've got to hope your teammates can bail you out.
Well, you just got to hope in current stage of this game that your opponents will make as many errors as you do. I think perhaps a little bit of the physicality from UFA is getting in the minds of some of the Ukrainian players. They do look a bit frustrated out there on the sand, but all's fair. I don't think any of these things are intentional, just some choices that may be a little bit too close for comfort occasionally.
Roy. Pump fakes the big look. Waited for Edmonds to come underneath. Instead towards the far sideline, and now Edmonds comes all the way through into the backfield. To Roy. Vargas motors off deep. He's not the option though. Instead it's Edmonds looking for the inside out forehand. Utter filth, frankly.
Well, I think he heard what I said, got his little spanner out, did some tweaks, because that was an absolutely sensational throw.
I mean, you can keep your hammers, your scubas, like maybe a cheeky little backhand around, even a thumber. Hell, I've been known to throw them. But there is no throw I love more than a perfectly executed inside-out backhand. And that's what we had here. Just a little bit of tiny shape on it, but he puts that out into space despite the bit of the defender. Vargas, always favourite to win that one. Cannot execute it any better. that Edmonds did down there. Just utilise the wind to his advantage as it blows more sand into the commentary booth and over the field as well.
Well, we've had a little bit of chocolate flavour glacé, some strawberry, some framboise glace, and then I would like to personally request a flavour of ice cream that is based on Thomas Edmonds' Inside Out flick Huck.
What would that be?
I don't know, but it'll be delicious.
Mint chocolate. Cool and crisp and a little bit saucy.
Or maybe some rum and raisin. Or mint chocolate with a little bit of drizzle over the top.
I'm just talking myself into more ice cream here, and we'll move on as Zhubenko sees that bounce out of her grasp. More break opportunities. Vargas crossing over to play some D-line. Goes to the ground and catches in front of EBUCC. Vargas wants something closer, but he's not seeing it, so he goes with the expansive over the top and threads it into Ines Bringel. If you want a high stall bailout, Huck, Ines Bringel's a pretty good option. First break of the game goes to the Portuguese side, and UFA lead 4-3.
Yeah, we finally get one almost 20 minutes in. I have a feeling we're going to be subject to the timed half-time here rather than reaching that 7-point cap outright, but that's a familial connection. Vargas and Bringel have been playing for quite some time together. Of course, Filipa, Agnieszka's sister, is Pedro's partner in life and in Frisbee. Of course, Filipa Vargas playing usually alongside her husband.
I thought that you kind of, in terms of historically, weren't supposed to get on with all your in-laws. Evidently, that's not how it looked out there.
It's not how it happens in Portugal. They're a real sort of family unit and a real family feel of ultimate Frisbee in the Algarve. Certainly when they've hosted beach championships before. Vargas, of course, one of the key parts of the BULA organisers here in Royan, helping yesterday to kind of, you know, have the players' best interests at heart. No pushing games forward, no shortening rounds. Kind of trying to keep things running smoothly, and as they should.
Yeah, given the thunderstorms, they did brilliantly to get everything in on day one. There's this probably tiring now Ukrainian O-line that's been out there for a while, goes back out, marches once more, Kravets. One through, and Costa with the clean hand block. Let's have a look at it again on the replay. And it's not just a hand block, the entire forearm there. Coelho looking to squeeze it down the line, wants the continuation, but Kendall Ferreira thinks wiser. Now the upline cut goes, not thrown to, breaking around. Thought Patricio might continue and instead bouncing it back. Really trying to manipulate the marks around to create space. Back to Ferreira. Thought the break side cut could have gone. It does go. Coelho 5-3 now. UFA opening a little bit of separation, but as people who were following that Ukrainian quarterfinal know, it's not over yet.
Oh no, absolutely not. Do not underestimate the Kyiv side. They might have given quite a lot though in the quarterfinal that saw them advance to semis here against UFA. But Ferreira, such a dominator in the handler section, distributing all over the place for UFA. And Sarah Costa, that fantastic block, denial defense, so very intense. Started playing Ultimate just because she got bored of the sports she was doing and decided, hey, I want to go do something else. She's currently residing in Lisbon, teacher by trade.
I think I could learn a few tips from her on the fourth.
And you can see the joy actually with which UFA play with each other. They are dynamic and attack the disc really well, but there is a lot of joy between them and each other. In fact, they do have some regular people on their roster who fly across for the Portuguese Beach Championships for their local league frequently to make sure they can get those roster spots to allow them to come and play these games together.
That one, did that hit the hand? I thought that was a drop ball from Patiakina.
It was.
Just thought, oh no, this is going low, I'm about to stop this before it gets away from me. But it hadn't hit the ground first. That's a bit of a heartbreaker. A mental error here late in the day that you cannot afford to have. Definitely a drop ball. Vargas picks up. Almost a natural brace on the left knee. Zinging through, comes up, trumps, and is pumped. The 11 shirt of Thiago Augusto, and he got a huge bump on the back there from Cholkin as well. There's too much physicality here for my liking, Hannah.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, you know, to be fair, we have to be mindful that... sorry, just getting distracted a little bit by the replay on a bit of a delay there. But a heartbreak hotel for Batiakina. But yes, fair enough in terms of we've been calling out UFA for their sort of late bids. That one touch ambitious from Cholkin. Need to see a little bit more respect of each other out here on the pitch. This is a non-contact sport, folks. But great inside shot from Filipe Vargas and demoralization of the Ukrainians mixed side that has been toppling big names left, right, and center.
You were saying about not getting a time. You were saying about getting a timed half and not reaching 7.
I'm happy to be proved wrong. We've got a couple of minutes left on the clock to do it, and hopefully UkrMix can put in a couple more shots before that happens.
Yeah, 4 points on the bounce now for UFA. And early in the game, when Ukraine were, you know, they were turning it a lot, but getting it back, you wonder when the Portuguese would make it count. They've begun to make it count now. Zavalenko underneath, stretching. Going back to Zavalenko. Out in front, too far out in front, despite the layout bit of Slenzak. Picked up by Roy. He wants the deep shot for Priyan, and he's got it for 7-3 half-time lead. That was devastating, and a proverbial dagger through the hearts of the Ukrainians.
Absolutely cutting offense. I mean, it's really not a thing where you have to, you know, you have sympathy whilst you're playing, but, you know, off the pitch after you've scored that lustrous break immediately out of the blocks. Commiserations to the Ukrainians. I think they may be calling a timeout by the way they're gathering on the pitch, Benji.
Yeah, so good opportunity to take a timeout as they want to extend this coming out of half, so we'll take a little bit of a breather in the booth as well, and the second half of this final continues after the break. European Beach Ultimate Club Championships, mixed division action. UFA up 7-3 on Ukraine in the semi-finals. Vargas fakes the backhand, dishes back to Roy. Roy to Vargas, underneath to Edmonds. Edmonds thinks about the deep look to Filipe Vargas. Instead, they're just choosing to work their way slowly and steadily down the field. Vargas back to Edmonds. Edmonds breaking around, finding it to Roy. Gets the force on the floor, back to Vargas. Fakes out his other half. Finds Edmonds instead. I think that might have been tipped with the foot block, but it's not enough to prevent Nicky Priyan catching the score. It was 3-2 to the Ukraine a short while ago, and now 8-3, the Portuguese side lead. The Algarve are having a time of it out there right now.
Absolutely. I think indeed those physical bids may be getting a little bit of unsettling for the Ukrainians. They will be tired. They've had to surmount some pretty impressive comebacks. One has to only look at the score stats line from their quarter final where they had to come back from, I think it was 5-3 behind.
I think they scored the last 4 in a row to take over against RFO to take their place here, and well, they need even more than that if they want to come back here, but I certainly wouldn't put it past them. I've seen remarkable things from this side both this weekend and previously. By the way, in the other semi-final, it's gone 2-2 with Margarita Mixed up 7-4 on Korokota.
Well, at the moment, that looks to be the shape of things, but setting us up hopefully for a dynamic final. That's a big shot from Cholkin.
And Cholkin rolls his wrist across it, and he judged that to perfection. Oksana Kravitz makes the catch, and finally, Ukraine apply the tourniquet to stop the bleeding. And it's 8-4, but too little too late?
No.
Got to start somewhere, I guess.
Well, at the moment, I don't think it's really closing the book yet. To just imagine for a moment, and we'll all do an absolutely atrocious job of imagining, I am sure. But imagine all of the hurdles that the Ukrainians have had to surmount just to get here, let alone get into the semi-final. If there's any team that can unsettle the Portuguese outfit and come back and put themselves into this game, it's got to be the Ukrainians, right?
Well, they can finally get that D-line out on the field and give that O-line a little bit of rest. High, and it was well contested by Zhubenko. Prevented the catch from Ritzman, and it's the first time that UFA's O-line have surrendered the disc. What can the Ukrainians do with this opportunity? Just trying to work it underneath, a high catch but made. Behind. Squeezing it in down the line. Shupanov wanting to fade that one over to the break side. It's well read, and it's in the end zone as well for the break. Bachiakina with the score from Shupanov, as you would probably expect from the master photographer, a picture perfect put.
That was absolutely beautiful. It was weird because it was just so quiet when that disc went up. Just seemed to be kind of like, I don't know, not really in line with the rest of the game. It's almost like just the world kind of stopped for a minute. A high stall situation. The Ukrainians really had to grind that one through because, of course, the O-line of UFA are a talented bunch of athletes, make no mistake, but just a really beautiful way to shoot that one after the defensive pressure of Dzbienko was able to generate the turn.
So first break of the game for Ukraine finishes in the hands of Daria Batyakina, graphic designer by trade, so I think could really kind of visualize the trajectory of that throw. Break towards the far side. How will the Portuguese respond to having been broken? Looks pretty good so far as they're already at midfield. Faking the high release down the line. Brinjel inbounds. The break is on to Priyan, and the break is done to Priyan for 9-5.
That is such a shame on the defense. That classic thing of everybody getting caught up by the floods to the open side and somebody forgetting their mark and leaving Priyan with no pressure, just an easy wide open option even for the break to try and hit.
So obviously we're neutral here in the booth, but I will say that there is a lot of love for the Ukrainians coming in via the YouTube chat. I wonder if that's kind of just rooting for the underdog or just getting the home fans out in support, which is great to see.
Well, it's nice to see Dima Babic, the UFDF president, also. We can't say exactly what he's saying because unfortunately neither of us can read the
You can't read Cyrillic?
No. I was trying to check in my head. I was like, is it Cyrillic text? Is that what it is? But of course it is, Benji. A tired brain.
So the first pass is underneath to Zavalenko. Strelchin makes the long barrier position as he gets the catch. Cholkin wants to break backhand. On 7, breaks around. Zavalenko. wanted to try and fit that one in, I think. Instead goes back to Strelchina. Cholkin, like a little jitterbug at the front of the end zone, works his way free and then quickly gets the backhand out towards the far side onto Slenzak to make it 6-9. And very nicely poised here this game.
Well, and you can really tell how much every single point means to the Ukrainian mixed side. Cholkin with a proper satisfying fist pump after throwing that assist.
Do you think he wears his heart on his sleeve a little bit there?
I love an expressive player. You know, it gives us fantastic shots for our cameras.
It's good content, isn't it?
Absolutely. We are all about the product here in ulti.TV. And if you think we should make more live streams, if you think we should cover more tournaments, please do consider becoming a patron of Ultimate Arts.
Yeah, ulti.TV or patreon.com/ulti.TV. Find out more information about what we do and how you can support.
And of course, other campaign you can get yourself behind is the I Play for Ukraine initiative.
I think everyone out here, regardless of their allegiance, shares the sentiment. So disc in the corner. Priyan picks up a bit of Nikolayenko on the way. Dusts herself down, resets central to Roy. Priyan takes off deep. Roy likes that look, and why wouldn't he? Right on the chest for Priyan, and it's 10-6. He wondered if there was a little bit of shakiness after they were broken for the first time, on the very first time, of course. The offensive line for the Algarve outfit took the field. But since then, nope, have not turned it over since, so whatever affected them on that point, clearly they've figured out a little bit.
Well, you can get away with one every so often, but the real difference maker is the movement across the sand. I mean, Nikki Priyan is somebody who we've known for a long time. Since even the wee days where I started my playing career, which obviously has not been anywhere near as good as Priyan's. Indeed, when they still, you know, still didn't have electric lighting.
Before ulti.TV existed.
But Priyan's is such a household name, and to play on that World Games squad last season, it's just almost unfair. She set off, and there was not really anything that Margarita Nikolayenko could do to try and play any kind of catch-up. 5
goals this game for Priyan. If Ukraine are going to come back in this one, they need to find a way to shut her down.
Well, if
that one's low, and the forward roll from Zavalenko as he gets to his feet, ripping it to Cholkin. Cholkin's got the position, or we might give it up a little bit there.
Big old Cholkin sandwich between two golden slices of bread. He just walks away. Turnover is signalled, but a fair battle off of a hospital pass and a half.
It looked like he was going to get a good read in it, and they just hung up at the back of the end zone for too long. And the combination of Augusto and Brinjel made sure that he couldn't get the disc. Ritzman bringing it to the front of the end zone. The lefty starts with that inside flick, and now Brinjel gunning it, looking for Augusto, and he gets it past the bidding Cholkin to make it 11-6. UFA 2 points away from the final. They've played some close games so far this weekend, but UFA seem to have hit their straps at just the right time.
Well, we've already said this is the 4th intense beach ultimate game for both of these sides. They have both brought a lot of personnel, but I think the depth of the roster for UFA, especially on this beachy surface, has really paid dividends. Brinjel bringing all the skills to the yard there on that point, chasing down the disc to Cholkin, and they're playing some fantastic defense, helping alongside Augusto, and then of course the two players. It's like a shared bookends, Benji.
Yeah, I guess so. Whether you credit either one of them for the block, they both combined for it, and then one threw it and the other one scored it. So quadruple happiness, maybe. The pull from UFA lands out of bounds. Cholkin will get it at the brick mark.
We didn't catch it on our cameras, but I really enjoyed a little secret moment there that Uri Ferreira had, just kicking some sand up and catching it in his hand.
Maybe just measuring the wind a little bit.
Oh, he's got a big target in the form of EBUCC to try and shut down.
EBUCC comes underneath. Here's another big man, Zavalenko. Cholkin busts down line. Cholkin's the option, and a good option it was as well. He got the throw out nice and early, a little bit of edge to take it around the defender. And Zavalenko to Cholkin to make it 7-11.
Well, fabulous scenes. A nice clean hold for UkrMix after that section of play where they were just shut out of the game by UFA. This Portuguese side. You can understand why they managed to collect those couple of extra players from the international stage. But nice to see the Ukrainians putting their heads back in this game. They are not going to be completely shut out. And they've got lots of support, certainly in the chat. Lots of bees. Not sure what the relevance is of that, but I like to see the bee emoji.
Bees?
Bees.
I'm not on board. A little bit of give-go to start the possession. Now Vargas towards the break side, continuing the flow to Edmonds. Stops a little bit. And they get back into flow. Towards the sideline. Roy to Edmonds. Priyan's making herself available in the end zone, but not quite finding the space. Stall count ticking up high. Can they get it off? Really utilising the around well past the bidding Petrashak on the force. And past another bid there. Kravitz picks herself up. Kendall Ferreira. Just thought about the hammer for the briefest of moments. Roy around to Edmonds, who after some early throwing mishaps has really found his range as the game has developed. Edmonds down the line from Roy, 12-7. UFA within one of a finals berth tomorrow.
Well, Benji, I have to say, I think this one is going to go in favour of UFA. Do I see, unless, I don't know, lightning reappears and strikes down half of UFA's squad and the rest of them are completely unbeknownst as to what to do. I don't see them being shut out for a solid 6 points here.
The other semi-final, by the way, Margarita Mixed of Ireland leads Spain's Corocota 10-6.
So not dissimilar score lines. We should hopefully get, that means, 2 fabulous medal game showdowns tomorrow. We'll be bringing you those bronze and gold medal matches.
Yeah, no matter what configuration they take, one's not to be missed. We're streaming the open semi-final first thing in the morning, and then all the bronze medal matches, and then all the gold medal matches. And you can watch it all live and for free on ulti.TV. But aren't we good to you?
We are so good to you. But it has to be said, though, credit to the UkrMix side. They are really having a better second half of it. This pass count rising. That was 12 passes or thereabouts required to sink in that last offensive hold for UFA. So proving themselves good opponents here and pulling themselves back up out of the sand after that commanding lead that was gained by UFA in the first half.
Cholkin from the brick mark then.
The bee himself.
Good to know. See if Cholkin can be a busy bee again on this point. Lovely inside find to Bachakina. Out wide. And the bee buzzes his way into the end zone. Getting the rip of the inside flick from Zavalenko. There's the first part of the bargain for Ukraine. They've got the hold to make it 12-8. They just need to find 5 breaks on the bounce, and given they've only got 1 all game, it's a tough task, but they've been in similar positions before and dug their way out of it.
Indeed. Well, they're going to need some JCB truck action to try and drag themselves out of this hole. Some winching equipment and several handy, capable humans, but at the moment, digging themselves out. Cholkin going to work. Content creators, going to put a call out. I would like to see a Cholkin highlight reel to...
Flight the Bumblebee?
Exactly. You took the words out of my mouth, Benji. I would like that highlight reel with that soundtrack, please.
So this could be the last point of the game. If they could score, they're looking to do it in one with the deep shot. Priyan, not this time. A little bit undercooked. And Kravitz with the palm to deny Priyan. The first time all game, they've got the better of her in the deep space.
Well, it had to happen eventually. That look a little bit dialed in, and Oksana Kravitz, the engineer, putting together some fantastic work.
Danielak. See, they're crossing some of the O-line players over to play defense now as that one floats and very nearly takes out Lucia on camera too.
Yeah, bit overcooked that throw. Shame that we're quite so close to the sideline, but we have to be. There's not much room on this side.
Roy. To Ferreira in the backfield, just past the Viding Nikolayenko. Here's Filipa Vargas. Back to Roy. That's just the second turnover of the game, by the way, for the UFA O-line. Pedro Vargas wanting to take on the break. Past the force of Daniliuk. Pedro Vargas. Priyan's not quite in the end zone just yet. Is she going to think about the scoring pass? Getting high, the stall, blade to the back of the end zone. Roy with the clap catch layout. Priyan put up the blade on the high stall. Roy came through, and with a 13-8 victory, we will see UFA in the final tomorrow.
We certainly shall. Well, turning the normal connection on its head, Nikki Priyan with that final one. Another look at the Nikolayenko attempt for that huge layout block. I really appreciate seeing those bids come out a lot cleaner towards the latter stages of this game. It was a little bit too much tussle early doors that I think just got a little bit mentally the better of the UkrMix side. They just, you know, had to reel their heads back in. Unfortunate loss, but a great performance to get themselves into semis. We will see both of these teams out here on the sand tomorrow. Make sure you set your alarm clocks. Our schedule will be released for you in the correct order, but Benji, well deserved to UFA, and I think it's going to be a really fun one watching them against Margarita Mix tomorrow.
Yeah, assuming that the Irish do indeed polish off Korokota in that semi-final, currently leading 11-7. I just think back to the start of this game where they turned it over 6 times in their first 3-0 points, UkrMix, and you thought, if they don't tidy this up, they are going to, UFA are going to take these opportunities eventually. And then from 3-2, they put in their 0 point and scored the next 4 D points without surrendering the disc, and they just dug themselves too much of a hole early, the Ukrainians. I think just...
But it just had nothing to build from. Like you say, that early jitter, that kind of, you know, we did see them get their heads a little bit in the game. They got that one break sort of after half-time, maybe that pause, that change of ends, settling the nerves a little bit. But really, like, you just can't come into this level of Elite Ultimate and not put together those 0 points quickly.
I think the thing for me is as well is that they had quite a narrow pool of O-line players, so you're getting the same players out there over and over again, and that gets more wear and tear in the legs, especially on beach. That lactic acid builds up, you can't quite get the same power and momentum in those cuts, and everything does become a little bit more stodgy. But also, sometimes it's nice just to have a point off and just not think about Frisbee for a minute or so, just so you can reset yourself, get yourself in the right headspace.
Well, a little bit of shot of Noah Brinkworth there, and of course, the man himself, Stef Pazzo. He's got his shirt off. He's ready for some post-game refreshment. We're ready to clip out the highlights of this game.
And I think we're really just about ready for finals day. So, tomorrow morning, we start with the open semi-final. Don't shut that yet, Pat, so I haven't wrapped up. Cheeky monkey. Starting with the open semi-final, we'll give you word on which that's going to be. It'll be either 33 Tours from Bordeaux up against Magic Disc of Angers. Reminder, that is an 8 o'clock start tomorrow morning. Yeah, you heard that right, 8 o'clock. So hope everyone's up and ready and wearing to go nice and early tomorrow.
In just 12 hours and 10 minutes away.
Oh my god. The other semi-final, I think we're going to be streaming Solaris Guayota first thing in the morning. And then women's bronze medal action. Copenhagen Hawks after that heartbreaker in the women's semi-final that was, I mean, an absolute classic game. They'll be taking on Yaka after they lost to Guayota. Then the mixed bronze medal match, which will be, of course, the Ukrainians against, it will be Korokota. And then open bronze medal matches will be the loser, of course, the 2 enemies. We don't know who that is because that hasn't happened yet. So an hour each game away, and then 12 o'clock local time start, the women's final, E6 from Sweden up against Guayota of Spain. 1:30, so there's a little bit of a longer break between the finals. Mixed final action between UFA and the Irish of Margarita mixed, and then finishing up the day with the open final at 3 o'clock local time. And of course, we will find out who that is going to be tomorrow. In the meantime, time for everyone to get washed, refreshed. I think I need a shower to get rid of all the sand so I can get prepped and ready and get an early night for finals day. 8 o'clock start tomorrow morning. Ulti.TV will see you there. For all of our Ulti.TV crew and for Stef Pazzo and Hannah Pendlebury alongside me, Benji Reese saying we will see you on the other side for finals day.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ulti.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member
and fund our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
For the first time ever, from the golden sandy blankets of Portimao, Portugal, BULA and ulti.TV bring you the World Beach Ultimate Club Championship 2024. The best club teams in the world will converge on the Portuguese Algarve. With expectations for upwards of 150 teams, this promises to be a tournament worth bucket listing. Whether on the sands or watching the action from your screen, WBUCC 2024 is a tournament not to be missed.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ulti.TV.